This is Marc Strassman, reporter with Etopia News. We're about to speak to Ed Begley Jr., and we're going to talk about various environmental subjects. Welcome to Etopia News.
Thanks so much, Mark.
Before we talk about some of the big picture issues and some of the smaller items, give us a little bit of background on your roots as an environmentalist.
You know, I started being an environmental activist, I suppose, in 1970. It came from two important things, really. One of them good, one bad. The good thing was being a Boy Scout. That was a good influence, made me appreciate the outdoors. The bad thing was growing up in LA. It was very smoggy for many, many years in Los Angeles. It still is quite smoggy, but it's much, much better because of all the things we did to improve the air quality. But 1970 was as bad as it ever was in the San Fernando Valley. Horrible choking smog every day. I couldn't run a block or two as a young man without wheezing, and I was not an asthmatic, and I'm not now. But so I finally decided to do something. 1970, I bought my first electric car. I started recycling in 1970, composting, buying all biodegradable soaps and detergents, and reading a lot of stuff from David Brower and others.
Did this set you apart from your peers, and did people applaud, ignore, or ridicule your interest in environmentalism in the early days?
You know, it's been considered unusual lately to drive an electric car. Imagine what it was like in 1970 driving an electric car. I was crazy to want to buy one in 1970. There was someone crazier than me selling them in 1970, a man by the name of Dutch in Reseda. All I did, people say, how did you ever find an electric car? I opened the yellow pages and looked under electric vehicles, and someone was selling them in Reseda. They were basically golf carts with a windshield wiper and a horn. You know, they went 15 miles an hour, had limited range, but they were great for getting around and doing my errands.
Is the lesson there that it's easier to be an environmentalist than you think?
I think it is.
Okay.
And that's the thing, when I talk about all these quote-unquote environmental matters, number one, all of them are good for my bottom line. They've been good economically. And most importantly, I urge people to do what I did to prove that it's good economically, is to pick the low-hanging fruit first. Do the stuff that is cheap and easy. Buy compact fluorescent bulbs, an energy-saving thermostat, ride a bicycle for some or all of your errands, take public transportation, plant a little garden. Oh, I don't have a backyard, we'll be part of a community garden. All these things that you can do that are very, very inexpensive, a lot of bang for your buck. You're going to see a great bottom line result right away, money in your pocket.
And again, what was the reaction of your peers and colleagues to this?
They thought I'd lost my mind. Indeed, as recently as 1990, when I went on to the next level of saying, I'm just not going to drive at all. I'm not going to buy one pint of gasoline at the pump. I'm just not going to do that. I stopped buying gasoline. I got around my bicycle, public transportation, then bought a small electric car. I had a range of 25 miles, a little better than the other car, but not much. My children specifically, let's just start with my children, who were then 11 and 12 years old. They thought I'd lost my mind. They thought I would literally gone insane, and I would never be able to see them again because they lived up in Ojai. But I did manage to see them taking public transportation and, charging along the way to get up there. But my friends and family alike thought I'd lost my mind as recently as 1990.
Now, was there a slow evolution in their coming to realize that you hadn't, or was there an aha moment for a lot of people?
There were several aha moments when we started to see more and more clarity in the science of global climate change, and people saw that there were perhaps some big problems with the buildup of CO2. People woke up with that. People also woke up when they saw gasoline approach $4 a gallon recently and now level off at $3.25 where it sits today. When those things happened, when Hurricane Katrina occurred, and many people theorized that it might be a result, these kinds of bigger and more prevalent, more numerous hurricanes of that magnitude, when that occurred, people started to think that maybe there was something to all this.
Okay, now where global warming was, let's say before Katrina, peak oil still is. Tell people what the theory of peak oil is and how that factors into some of these other issues we've been talking about.
Peak oil is that moment that I believe we have passed, where cheap oil, the days of cheap oil are over. Moreover, you're approaching a point and headed on that downward slope that leads you to that point where it becomes not at all, even remotely economically viable to continue to extract oil from the ground. Indeed, you will use You pick whatever way you want to describe it: BTUs, therms, joules, ergs,
or cost.
or cost. It will cost you, $1,100 to get out, $1,050 worth of oil out of the ground.
And that's not a relationship you can make up on volume.
Right. It basically becomes not worth your trip to go to the grocery store to get what you're buying.
Right. Now, how much of this increase in gas prices is a result of what we could euphemistically call political instability in various parts of the world, and how much of it is the approach or the already having passed peak oil?
I think political instability has a certain amount to do with it. I don't know how it breaks down. I could theorize on the ratio of what percentage is this and that, but I mean, why would you want to, at the very root of it, why would you want to fund people who, many of whom want to do you harm? I mean, why would you want to send more money to Saudi Arabia, for instance? 15 of the 19 hijackers had Saudi passports. Why would you want to send more money that direction and further destabilize things for yourself and many others? I don't want to do that. I would like to greatly reduce, if not eliminate, our need for Mideast oil. I would like to greatly reduce the need for domestic oil. Is that possible? Is it pie in the sky? I'm doing it. The lights here behind me, the lights on in this room, there's some daylight spilling in, but the lights on are not only compact fluorescents, they are solar powered. I charge my car in the sun. I run my household, my computer, everything, boil water in my electric tea kettle, all of it with the sun, with solar power. I have a windmill in the California desert that puts out many homes worth of clean power. That has been since 1985, it has been doing that.